Guys, a little update on the power supply I'm working on. I got some 3-wire panel meters that are 5 digits. I'm waiting on some 4-wire ones to come in. I've got the noise on my power supply down quite considerably. At 3 volts, we are right in at 500 microvolts of division. We're looking at 104 microvolts RMS with a peak-to-peak figure of 860. That is going to drop substantially once I lift some of these reference boards and power supplies and stuff off of the grounded chassis. I've got to solder in all these ground wires and capacitor and whatnot. Also got my scope and my power supply going back to the same point because I was getting a bit of a ground loop. I'm sure there's still some. You'd be surprised. But yeah, basically this is where I'm up to. I'm going to take some differential measurements next. Use the math function on the scope. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to show you guys. Last time we were working on this down at the bottom end, it was really noisy. Okay. Just let the scope settle in. As you can see, the RMS figure is dropping as the waveform comes up. But right down the bottom now, we're looking at a peak-to-peak figure of about 1 millivolt. And the RMS value, let's see. It's going to take a time to settle out. I know my scope and the settling times based off the voltage going into it and time base and whatnot. I'd say we're going to go down to about 200 microvolts RMS. You can see as that capacitor inside the scope's charging back up, the DC offset is coming back to 0, and the math has been able to get the RMS value. And as you can see, like I said, it'll get down to about 200, maybe 150 microvolts. Peak to peak, 1 millivolt. Like I said the other day, I was going to iron stuff out. Now, let's go all the way up with LBJ to the top end. What's going on with my trigger? Trying to get a better focus for you guys. Nice, that's better. I'm sorry it takes a while to drop. I can drop the scale down a little bit. That'll kind of help, but not really for the math too much. So at the top end, not looking so good still. I'm sorry, I was playing with the trigger. I had that wrong for a sec. I wasn't actively triggering because the waveform's still dropping in bias. 1 second, one of my cats has decided to come into the lab. This happens from time to time. So at the top end, yeah, that's what I was looking at. About 2.4 millivolts peak to peak and 1.7 millivolts RMS for noise. So far the RMS figures on this thing are well below a millivolt RMS. In some situations 100 microvolts. And peak to peak figures don't go higher than 2.4 millivolts. So it's already quite quiet. This is actually just a standard transformer that came out of an old K-Car MP3840 power supply, for those of you who are wondering. Same with the little heatsink. It's actually undersized, so I've had to ramp up the fan cooling quite a bit on it, and I've used better transistors, but yeah, more to come soon. Let me know what you guys think.